Breaking news just dropped 2 minutes ago, and the basketball world is absolutely shaking right now. Caitlin Clark, the woman who single-handedly saved women's basketball, who turned the WNBA from a struggling league into a cultural phenomenon, is reportedly considering quitting the league that made her a superstar. I'm not talking about retirement, I'm not talking about taking a break. Sources close to the situation are saying she's ready to walk away from everything she's built, abandoning millions of dollars and a legendary career that's just getting started. But here's the question that has everyone losing their minds. What could possibly be so devastating, so earth-shattering, that the biggest star in women's sports would even think about leaving at the height of her success? The story I'm about to tell you involves broken promises, corporate betrayals happening behind closed doors, and a level of disrespect that would make your jaw drop. And if what we're hearing is true, Caitlin Clark's potential departure wouldn't just destroy her career, it could bring down the entire commercial empire she created and leave millions of heartbroken fans wondering how the WNBA could fumble the bag this badly. Let me paint you a picture of just how massive Caitlin Clark has become for the WNBA. When she joined the Indiana Fever wearing that iconic number 22 jersey, she didn't just join a basketball team, she completely transformed an entire sport. We're talking about a player averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game, stats that are impressive enough on their own. But here's where it gets insane. She led the Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016, ending an 8-year drought that had fans questioning if the franchise would ever be relevant again. But the numbers that really tell the story aren't just her basketball stats. They're the commercial numbers that have executives at ESPN and major corporations scrambling to throw money at women's basketball. The Indiana Fever saw a 400% increase in season ticket sales. Let me repeat that, 400%. They had to change venues because they couldn't handle the demand. Television audiences that used to struggle to hit 500,000 viewers were suddenly exceeding 1 to 2 million viewers on a regular basis. Numbers that were considered impossible just 2 years ago. Corporate sponsors who wouldn't even return phone calls from WNBA executives are now lining up with briefcases full of money, all because they want to be associated with the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. She didn't just change the economic landscape of women's basketball, she completely rebuilt it from the ground up. And that's exactly why what's happening behind the scenes is so absolutely devastating. Here's where the story takes a dark turn, and why Caitlin Clark might be ready to walk away from everything. The WNBA salary structure is completely broken when it comes to superstars like Clark. While she's generating millions upon millions of dollars in revenue, television ratings, and corporate sponsorships, the maximum salary she can earn is approximately $230,000. Let that sink in for a moment. A player whose presence alone can fill arenas and crash streaming servers is being paid less than what some backup players make in the NBA's G League. The cruel irony is that Clark's market value, based on the commercial impact she's created, should be worth millions. But she's trapped in a rookie contract that binds her to the Indiana Fever with standard provisions that include team options and restricted free agency. Unlike other major sports leagues where superstars have leverage and mobility, Clark is essentially locked into a system that was designed before anyone could have imagined a player with her level of cultural impact. The collective bargaining agreement that governs these salaries was negotiated before Clark's transformative arrival, meaning the financial structures in place don't reflect the current reality of what elite players can contribute to the league. And here's where it gets legally complicated. When a player's market value so drastically exceeds their contractual compensation, it creates tensions that can tear organizations apart. The complexity only increases when you consider the revenue disparity between Clark and her teammates, all operating under standardized salary structures that don't account for differential market impact. But the money issues are just the tip of the iceberg. Sources close to Clark describe the mental and emotional pressure she's under as unprecedented and exhausting. Every game, every interview, every social media post is scrutinized by millions of people. The media attention isn't just constant, it's suffocating. She's not just playing basketball, she's carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire sport on her shoulders. And that level of responsibility requires exceptional mental resilience that can be absolutely exhausting over extended periods. And here's where things get really interesting. International leagues have been watching Clark's situation very closely, and they're ready to pounce. European leagues, including powerhouses in Turkey, Russia, and Spain, are offering salaries that exceed WNBA maximums, often by substantial margins. But it's not just about the money. These international opportunities come with additional benefits like housing, transportation, and an improved quality of life that the WNBA simply can't match. Australia's Women's National Basketball League has also emerged as an attractive destination, and sources suggest that international leagues are specifically targeting Clark with compensation packages designed to lure her away from the WNBA. Imagine the headlines if the biggest star in American women's basketball decided to take her talents overseas because her home league couldn't properly value her contributions. But leaving professional basketball entirely is also on the table, and that's where this story gets even more dramatic. Clark's intelligence and communication skills make her valuable in numerous fields outside of sports. The media and broadcasting world is practically begging for authentic voices in women's sports coverage, and Clark's charisma and game knowledge would make her invaluable to television networks and streaming services. There's also the entrepreneurship route, leveraging her personal brand into sustainable business ventures. We're talking about potential initiatives in athletic development, youth programs, and sports technologies where she could have creative control and unlimited earning potential. Some industry insiders believe Clark could make more money in business ventures than she ever could playing professional basketball, especially given the restrictive salary structures she's currently facing. The coaching and basketball development path offers another intriguing possibility. Clark could maintain her connection to the sport while building an entirely new career, using her technical knowledge and leadership experience in coaching roles that could eventually lead to front office positions with real decision-making power. But here's what makes this situation so psychologically complex. Clark isn't just dealing with typical career decisions. She's become the commercial draw that essentially saved the WNBA, which means expectations extend far beyond typical athletic careers. She's not just a basketball player, she's a symbol, a spokesperson, and the face of women's professional sports. That role creates additional stress and pressure that most athletes never have to handle. Questions about the organizational culture within the Indiana Fever have also surfaced. Team management decisions, coaching philosophies, and whether the Fever organization truly aligns with Clark's expectations and career goals are all factors influencing her satisfaction. The rapid organizational transformation that occurred around Clark's arrival may have created challenges in team chemistry and relationships that are affecting her overall career satisfaction. There's also the complex dynamic of being a superstar who generates most of the attention while trying to maintain team cohesion. This requires sophisticated leadership skills and organizational support that may not be adequately provided. When individual recognition vastly outweighs team success, it creates pressures that can be incredibly difficult to navigate. League policies and decision-making processes also play a crucial role in Clark's potential departure. Her perspective on leadership quality and organizational direction could significantly affect her long-term commitment to the WNBA. If she believes the league's leadership isn't capable of evolving quickly enough to match the sport's growth, walking away might seem like the only logical option. The psychological burden of carrying expectations for an entire sport cannot be understated. Every performance is viewed as a reflection of the sport's health and future prospects. Her role model responsibilities extend far beyond basketball performance to include public appearances, media obligations, and constant scrutiny of personal choices. This level of responsibility can become overwhelming for any athlete trying to focus on sport performance, while also managing personal development and relationships. Family and personal relationships also heavily influence major career decisions like this. The impact of different career paths on overall life satisfaction and personal happiness often outweighs financial considerations, especially for someone who's already achieved legendary status in their field. The timing of career decisions often reflects personal readiness and life circumstances that outsiders don't fully understand. What might seem like shocking decisions to fans and media often make perfect sense when viewed through the lens of personal values and long-term life goals. Looking ahead, Clark's decision could trigger legal challenges to the WNBA's restrictive contract structure and salary limitations. Her unprecedented success strengthens arguments about fair compensation for elite players, potentially leading to significant changes in how the league operates. The entertainment and media industries are offering growing opportunities for transitioning athletes, often with greater creative control and financial upside than traditional sports careers. The technology and startup sectors also present exciting opportunities, particularly particularly in markets focused on sports, fitness, and women's empowerment, where Clark's expertise and personal brand could be incredibly valuable. We're at a critical period for women's professional sports, and the next few years will be crucial for leagues, players, and business partners. Clark's ultimate career path will likely influence how future elite players approach their own careers and negotiate with professional leagues. The broader implications of potentially losing Clark extend far beyond one individual player departure. It would signal fundamental challenges in women's professional sports and raise serious questions about league management's ability to retain elite talent when that talent becomes bigger than the league itself. Right now, the basketball world is holding its breath, waiting to see what Caitlin Clark decides. Will she stay and fight to change the system from within, or will she shock everyone by walking away from the empire she built? One thing is certain, whatever she decides will reshape women's professional sports forever.